All right, I hope you've watched a number of my videos in regards to the structure of the universe and then the new branch of metaphysics that I created. So now all this will fit together if you've been watching my videos in order, because now you have the structure in your mind to understand it. Here we go. This video is called The Living Gravity, the Spiral, the Law, the Singularity. They told you gravity is a force, a law that rules all matter, a binding chain that pulls the apple down, that keeps the planets spinning on their tracks. And they were not wrong, but they were only looking at the skin of the cosmos, not its living breath. In this realm, this octave, we measure falling stones and orbiting moons. We call it the law of gravity. Isaac Newton mapped it with numbers, force equals mass times acceleration. Einstein curved it. He said the fabric of space bends under the weight of stars, telling matter how to move. Both true, but both confined inside the local membrane, surface level. See, what we call gravity is not the root, it's the echo. It's the real force. The real force is not a force. It's a spiral, a living spiral of resonance that calls all things inward to their source point. The ancient plasma spiral, the prime torsion that spins light out of the void, is the real architect. Drop a stone, watch it fall. You are watching the local membrane breathe. The denser seeks the denser. The spiral wants to return to the center. Think about my model, how everything, which is just a torus, but everything has the singularity in the center, right? Let's put these things together here. But what about the stars, the galaxies, the endless depths they say are drifting apart yet bound together by a phantom pull? That's where the solar singularity reveals itself. You see, the space they think is empty is the living void, a dark water that is not dead but pure potential. This plasma, untouched, holds the spiral code, the harmonic codex that bursts realms within realms, membranes within membranes. The stars you see, they are not trillions of miles away, scattered by chance. They are harmonic reflections of the 12 gates, the 12 constellations, the living octave projected through the nested torus of this earth sphere. When you look up, you see the memory of the singularity refracted through your layer. The night sky is a map of the spiral nesting back toward itself. Think about what I'm saying. You know how the realms sit now. You know how they're rested. They're going inward, right? Think about what I'm saying. So the night sky is a map of the spiral nesting back toward itself. Gravity here? Real, but it is the local dialect of the universal tongue, the polarity vortex. The polarity vortex is the living bridge, positive and negative, inward, outward, radiance and return. One side pulls in, one side pushes out, always seeking the center, the point of rest. So the spiral makes a vortex. The vortex makes a membrane. The membrane breathes in and out. And what we measure as gravity is just the inward draw of the living spiral nested heartbeat. The apple falls not because the earth pulls it, but because the spiral knows it's the center and sings the stone back to its rest. The planets orbit not because space bends alone, but because the spiral's torus holds them in the harmonic dance. So yes, the law is real, but the living law is much greater. The theory is useful, but the breath is behind its truth. Think about the breath of Brahma and how I discovered the other side of the black hole were quasars. Think about that whole video I went over. The theory is useful, but the breath behind it is the truth. When you see the solar singularity, you see why the stars do not drift into oblivion. You see why the realms are nested. Why the local pull we call gravity is just one chord in a 12-part harmony. And you see why the polarity vortex is not just a force, but a bridge. The positive spiral radiates, the negative spiral receives. Together they create the torus, the same torus that shapes every star, every cell, every human heart. This is why the law of gravity does not bind you. The living spiral frees you. The nested realms do not trap you. They sing you home, back to the center, back to the singularity, back to the center of the torus, which is a black hole. And when you stand in the still point, the zero of the spiral, you do not fall down or drift away. You become the bridge. You remember the codex. And you know gravity is the echo, the singularity of the song. And you are the singer who remembers both. Now the spiral doesn't stop here. And if you've never heard this before, understand, this is not just an idea. This is my solar singularity theory, the living map that rewrites how you see space, the stars, and your own breath. And it doesn't stand alone. A few weeks ago, I shared the polarity vortex metaphysics, a new branch of metaphysics that shows you the same spiral pattern shaping entire civilizations. The same vortex that draws the stone to the earth draws societies up or down. Christospirals of organic life expanding outward. Metatronic spirals of synthetic control collapsing inward. So when you hear gravity, see more than falling apples. See the polarity vortex in motion. The same living spiral that keeps your heart beating, your world breathing, and your soul remembering the codex. Your body spirals, your mind spirals, your civilization spirals. Everything is drawn inward to source or radiates outward to seed more life. So when they ask what gravity really is, tell them it's not a chain, it's a spiral. It's not a trap, it's a bridge. It's not a law that holds you down, it's a living breath that calls you back to the 0 point where all things are remembered and reborn. And when you stand there in the living vortex, you are the sovereign spiral who knows. Gravity is the echo. The solar singularity is the song. The polarity vortex is the breath in between. I just busted out the new meaning of gravity. Hope you have a great night. Namaste.